Cold. Oh, it's cold. Why does this always happen to me? Oh! Hi friends, and welcome to my not a sewing video. But it is kind of a sewing video today. Kind of, sort of, maybe. First of all, I want to apologize for being totally random with my filming lately. Honestly, I just completely forgot this week. I got to yesterday, Saturday, and was like, oh, I was supposed to film a video on Wednesday. And I started stressing out a little bit, and then I was talking to one of my friends, and she said, listen, you're not trying to be an influencer, which I'm not. Who am I influencing to do what? And she said, and you're not getting paid for your videos. And I'm like, who would pay me for these? So why are you stressing that you accidentally forgot and missed one? I said, yeah, but like the 8 people who actually comment and really love my videos might miss me. Anyway, so here I am, Sunday night, being like, okay, I'm going to film a video right now. I'm going to do it right now. So I don't look very cute today because I've been sewing, you guys, gals, people, everyone. I've been sewing a lot. I have been sewing a lot. I know that sounds weird coming from me because it's like pulling teeth to get me to sew, the person who basically is doing a sort of sewing but not really vlog. But yeah, sewing, me. And I've been feeling a lot better lately on the like emotional / depression side. And I think a lot of it has to do with it's been like not quite 2 weeks. I have had friends just come over and hang out with me. One of the days was supposed to be like a planning / sewing day, and she got a lot more than I done. I pretty much ended up sitting and talking and planning and yakking and whatnot. And another friend came over and hung out. And just, she's a photographer, and so she like worked on her photos on her laptop. And even though my house is a wreck, it's an absolute mess, and there's stuff everywhere, and I apologize profusely to everyone. They were like, no, it's cool. We'll just come over and hang out with you because, you know, you're kind of down and don't feel like going out a whole lot right now, and that's cool. We'll just come hang out with you. And I'm like, wow, that does not usually happen to me. Usually I'm always the one who has to go to everyone else. So the fact that I had these 2 amazing friends who have come over twice now and just hung out, and I introduced What We Do in the Shadows to them, which is an amazing TV show. I think they've both seen the movie, but it's a TV show now. And if you're not watching it, you should watch it. It's about vampires, but that doesn't even begin to cover what it's about. It's a mockumentary about this group of vampires living all together as roommates in this house, like today. And it's hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. Watch the movie first if you haven't seen it, and then watch this TV show. It is on Hulu. That is where I'm watching it, is on Hulu. I don't know where else it is, but Hulu. Anyway, so I've introduced it to them, and we were watching it together and having so much fun, and we all love Guillermo. Guillermo's amazing. We love him. He is our favorite. But I've noticed with these hangouts where they're willing to come into my messy space and just like hang out with me and chill with me and whatnot, and try out my new chaise. I bought the chaise. I've wanted it from IKEA for a while now, and then they discontinued the red cover, and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? There's no more red cover. And then I found it. I found someone selling like a like new one. Like it's been in his guest room and hasn't been used really. And I took the covers off, which is amazing with the IKEA ones. Took the covers off, washed the heck out of them. So it's basically a brand new one. And my friends basically fight over who gets to lay on it when they come over. Also, a huge benefit of laying on my chaise is that my dog immediately assumes that whoever is on the chaise, however you say it, wants him up there with them to snuggle. My poor friend Rachel had to lay here working on her laptop with my dog snuggled between her legs under a blanket. Luckily, they are good sports and love George. And he loves them right back because they give him loves. That was a tangent. I was going somewhere. Where was I going? Anyway, I have noticed that I have been feeling so much better ever since my friends started to just kind of, hey, coming over, gonna hang out. Hey, can I come over and hang out with you? It's been years since someone's offered to just come over and hang out with me. My house is usually a mess, and I'm usually, oh no, my house is a mess. You don't want to come over. But when I'm like really down or really like stressed out and whatnot, sometimes it's really hard for me to leave my house because it involves me like doing a bunch of work to get all dolled up. Is, you know, which really isn't that much work. But anyway, and it feels like all this effort when it really isn't. But when you're in the slumps, it feels like it is. And some days I just can't do it. I just can't. So, and when I do it on those days, I often show up at friends' houses and stuff, and I'm just like, ugh, I have no energy. I have no, bleh. I'm really hot right now. I don't know why I'm really warm. I'm really warm right now. Anyway, I'm usually within 5 feet of a fan, so I'm sure there's a hand fan within 5 feet of me somewhere. Anyway, so I noticed that with these friends showing up, I just started to feel better. It started to, I just, the next day, even though I wasn't very productive on the day that they were here, the next day I was like up out of bed and I was getting things done around the house, and I was like, I should work on that sewing project. And I started sewing, and I was like working on projects, and I kind of was slumping down, and then they were like, let's hang out again. Oh, I need to work on my sewing. Oh, can I just come over and hang out with you guys? And I was like, sure. You just want to hang out? No one ever just wants to hang out with me anymore. So they just came over and hang out. And one worked on my table on their sewing projects, and one was over here. And anyway, this is lots of vlog. I realized I just get energized from like the knowledge that my friends they just want to spend time with me. That time that they came over here to hang out with me was solely because they were making time to hang out with me. It wasn't on their schedule or their agenda or, oh, you know, come to my house because that's what I'm willing to make time for, whatever. They came here to my house and hung out with me and just said, hey, I want to hang out with you. I just want to spend time with you. And it's been a long time since I've heard that, like had that. There's always a specific purpose, like it's someone's birthday or there's like something going on, or I don't know. As adults, I think sometimes we just forget the importance of just hanging out. Just hang out with your friends and have fun, you know? Make time for them. Make them feel like you're making time for them. On my birthday, me and Lady Rebecca Fashion spent the whole day just messing around. We went out to brunch. We found this cute little tea place. We went to secondhand store. We went antique shopping. We just went out, ran around, had fun. No agenda. It's so fun. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend hanging out with your people with no agenda. Super fun. This last week, I also attended a American Girl, not this week, the week before. Anyway, I attended an American Girl meetup picnic where we all dressed up like one of our American girl dolls. And since I only have Felicity, I dressed up like Felicity in her meat dress. And I got the skirt done, and I technically got the bodice done, but it was a very bad fit. So at the last minute, I decided to rip it apart and try to fix it. And then, of course, didn't get it fixed in time. So I wore a different bodice, but since I had my red cape and I added like a fichu, I think that's how you say it. I never say these words out loud, guys. I just read them, so I don't know. But it's the kind of white scarf that goes around the neck and tucks into the boobs, so you're modest during the day. I added one of those, so between that and the red cloak, all you really saw was the skirt. So I felt very Felicity, very channeling Felicity. And I've got 2 of her other outfits on my sewing list for this year. Not going to tell you what they are because I've learned if I talk about my plans too far in advance and then I don't get them done, I feel really, really bad. So, that's why I'm only talking to you about like a month or 2 months ahead advance plans. Because, yeah. Most of my sewing right now is being done for the Victorian Heritage Festival being held in Port Townsend at the end of April, which I'm super excited about and obviously cannot stop talking about in my videos. Basically, my favorite part about them, because as I keep saying, it's a tiny, I say festival, and really it's just some walking tours, a few tours of some old buildings and or old homes. It depends on the year. I don't remember exactly what's planned for this year. And a few lectures about various things. It changes from year to year. There's also a fashion show and a dance and a tea. I think there's more than one tea going on. And but my favorite part is actually just going and staying in Port Townsend in a historical hotel during the weekend and swanning about town in Victorian fashions. That's my favorite part because there's a bunch of other people there also swanning about town in Victorian fashions. And you talk and you make new friends and you take pictures and the ocean is right there in this charming, tiny little seaside town. And it's amazing. My phone did that close-up thing. What did I do? I did something. Why does it do that? I really hate it. I really hate it. Can I? Nope. Every time I try to Zoom is not supported for this. I don't know why it does that. So I will try to go back further. Nope. Table's in the way. Anyway, but I'm not going to talk about that anymore. I'm going to talk about, so most of my sewing right now is for that because I'm trying to get my sewing done and I'm helping my friend who is going with me get some of her sewing done because she just bought a house. It's a beautiful house. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. And I'm going to do a tangent on that in just a minute. But, so I'm just sewing like the wind, desperately trying to get all of this sewing done by the end of the month. And I've got a bunch of other things going on this month, a couple of events, just little things and a couple of things going on. So I need every spare minute. Plus, still looking for a job. Still trying to make things work. Still just someone hire me. Anyway, but as soon as, because if I wasn't working on my Port Townsend stuff, I would be working on my 18th century pastoral outfit, which, as most of you know, I'm sure, because I'm sure you already follow Lady Rebecca Fashions. She is working on hers right now. It's looking beautiful, looking chef's kiss, stunning. And back when I showed her my Barbie doll and we talked about our plans, we had planned to make them at the same time and then have an event, which I think sounds amazing. There are some beautiful parks and some private gardens and all sorts of places out here to do those types of events. But per usual, she is way ahead of me in getting hers done, and I'm way behind. Part of that reason is also because she is unable to go to the Victorian Festival this year due to being wildly talented in absolutely everything, and she is in a play. She is in Titanic the Musical, which I'm going to see her in, and it will be my first time seeing that musical in live. I mean, I've listened to the soundtrack, but I've never seen the musical, so I'm really excited. Anyway, backtracking. Oh, and that's also why, like, I'm not trying to work on Felicity's bodice right now. That is, like, ill-fitting and needs work. Because, again, need to get stuff done for Victorian Festival. But so as soon as Victorian Festival is done, I'm hoping to get those two 18th century projects done. And then I've got some convention cosplay sewing to do and working on sewing for Costume College, which comes up at the end of July. So my friend Kelsey is buying this cute little house, and I have been, you know, in on her process of buying a house. If you don't know, Washington State, this whole area, Seattle through Tacoma, through just this whole range up and down PNW basically is, it's expensive. It's expensive to live here, and it's super expensive to buy a house. Super expensive. All the homes that I'm super interested in that are just slightly bigger than the home we sold in Utah when we moved up here are in the like $600,000-$700,000 range, which is ridiculous. And every now and then these posts come up for these beautiful Victorian homes out in the middle. By the middle, I mean the middle of the United States. Now, at some point in time in grade school, I learned where all my states are. I don't remember exactly where they all are now, but in the middle. For example, the other day, I saw this amazing post for this beautiful Victorian home. It's just stunning. All the original woodwork is still there. All the original tiling around the fireplaces is still there. It had this beautiful wraparound porch. It had this, it had a little guardhouse in the front. It had these beautiful gardens. Yeah, it was like $180,000 in Iowa. And I was talking to Handsome Hubby about it, and I was like, I want to go to there because beautiful Victorian house. And he said, well, here's the thing. You either spend buckets of money and buy a house here that you're settling for, or you buy your dream house in Iowa and you have to live in Iowa. Now, I'm sure Iowa is great. If you live in Iowa, please tell me why it is great. What's funny is it's like this Victorian house is in this tiny, well, not tiny, but this little town. And I looked at the street view and all the houses on the street are these Victorian homes. And I was like, I live in a Victorian home neighborhood. And like this town has like this river, this pretty river going through it. And I was like, this is amazing. And it's like, I don't know, you can drive up to Chicago for events and over to St. Louis, or, you know, like you're right in the middle too of like the historical costuming hub of a lot of things. And so I was like, that would be cool. But I looked up this little town. It has this hugely high rate of I just lost it. What's it called? Badness. The rate of badness. The rate of crime. Crime rate. Oh my gosh. I just lost my brains. Crime rate. Like ridiculously high crime rate. It was like 1 in every 25th person gets like has like crime happen to them or something. And I'm just like, what? It's this tiny little town filled with Victorian homes. What is going on in this town? Is it like a front for the mob or something? What's going on? Anyway, but that's not the only one I've seen. I've seen a bunch of other, you know, all around like those states that are kind of just below the Great Lakes. And I'm like, I don't really want to live there. I love living near the ocean. I love it. And my state is so green and it is so beautiful. And it has this beautiful little hint of moisture in the air. And I love, love, love living here. But it's going to take several years for me and handsome hubby to be able to afford a house. And in the meantime, we'll have to stay in our townhouse, which we have way too much stuff for, and also all of the outside annoyances that drive me crazy on almost a daily basis living here. And someday we'll buy a house that we will settle for, that we will pay an exorbitant amount of money for. Or do you, you know, in just a few years, instead of many years, move to some state out in the middle that maybe you don't love very much, and you have to start over with the friends and stuff, and hopefully you have work from home jobs so you can do this. But you get the house of your dreams that you can work on, and like it becomes like your fortress of solitude that you just love. And I don't know, back when I had this Victorian furniture that I sold before we moved here because I'm stupid. Now that's another story that I've probably already told, but I regret selling this furniture. Anyway, I used to go into my living room and just sit and look at my furniture. And it just made me happy to have it. It was so beautiful, and I loved it, and I just, and the idea that I could have a home that makes me feel that way to walk through it. Because if you think about it, our homes are where we spend the majority of our lives. So why wouldn't you want one that you can settle in and make your castle, you know, instead of one that you're like, well, it was what we could afford that was on the market and was in an okay neighborhood. But then you have to leave the state you love and your friends and start all over again. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Sorry I keep calling you guys. It just happens. It's my lingo. I apologize. So that was quite the weird tangent. It's just a thought I've been kind of ruminating on because, well, it's just, it's interesting. Also, I love how there's big costuming groups that do fantastic events out east. And out here, it's like little pockets. There's like California, there's a pocket. Denver, Colorado, there's a pocket, you know. And there are some groups up here, and they try to do things, but I don't know. Sometimes it feels like pulling teeth. What am I working on? Just in case you want to know. Currently, I am working on, can you even see? Okay, so this is Helga. And right now, Helga is wearing my, the late 1870s, early 1880s tea gown that I am working on, that I am going to be wearing. Oh, that works. Wearing in the fashion show at the Victorian Heritage Festival. So I'm going to be running around like a dressed up, insanely happy woman. So look for me. If you don't know what a tea gown is, Victorian tea gowns were worn in the home by ladies who were not expecting to go out that day, but wanted to look lovely and dressed up to a certain extent in case anyone came calling, in case any of their friends came to visit. So dressing gowns were these lovely flowing gowns that were either one piece or a kind of a soft underdress with kind of a robe that they would wear. And they could be worn over corsets or not, depending on how they were made. Some were specially made not to be worn over corsets. And they were made to be both beautiful, just aesthetically beautiful, and comfortable. So that you could basically sit and do your embroidery in the home or work on whatever you're going to be working on. Obviously, this is for middle class to upper class ladies. This is a middle class to upper class ladies thing. Sometimes they would include like a belt with it to draw it in, and then you could hang your household chatelaine from it. Household chatelaines would often hold little notebooks, a little pair of scissors for finding stray threads on clothing, maybe a little reading glass so that, you know, when you do your reading, it wasn't considered proper to hold things up to your face, so you could go like this with it instead. Just so you know, whenever you see it depicted with a lady outside in like movies or TV shows or something, wearing a full chatelaine with all of these items, keys and stuff outside of the house, that is incorrect. They would never wear their house chatelaine outside with all of those things on it. That was for inside the home. That was to make up for the fact that they didn't have pockets. Outside of the home, there's a separate chatelaine that is usually attached to like a belt on the dress, or would be attached to your skirt waistband that has a little hook on it. And that is where you would hook your reticule, which is like your little purse, where the straps for it. So it would just hang down onto your skirt so that you didn't have to hold it all the time. I just went into so much detail and I'm running out of time. Crap. Because as we all know, my phone just likes to cut me off after 30 to 32 minutes. Anyway, so I'm working on this tea gown. I'm trying to decide if I like white for the inside or pink for the inside. This pink is a little bit of a lighter and different pink than the stripes. I don't know. Having to make decisions. The other thing I'm working on right now is a walking skirt out of this beautiful spring fabric. It's really hard to see, but there's like a cream background, and then there's like this mint colored stripes on cream, and then this beautiful kind of woven tapestry floral. So, and I'm turning that into a walking outfit. I'm sticking mainly with 1890s for most of my outfits for this trip, I think, just for ease of wear, and also because handsome hubby is coming. And I don't want him to have to worry about my clothes and matching me. He only really has 2 Victorian outfits. So anyway, that's kind of an update on my sewing. I'm hoping to actually give you more updates during the week as I go along, as I sew. I'm getting a lot done. It's really cool. I just cut out a pattern for yet another project that's about to come up as soon as the tea gown is done. By the way, if you have any questions about the tea gown, I'm basing it on an extant tea gown, and I posted that picture on Instagram, but I am also morphing the 140 Laughing Moon Mercantile tea gown pattern with Truly Victorian's 432 1882 tea gown wrapper. I'm kind of using both of them to create a tea gown that's based on this extant blue and white striped tea gown, but also making it my own, because I actually don't believe in copying an extant garment or a fashion plate exactly. That is someone else's design, you know, and I think you can be inspired by it and, you know, do something like it, but I'm just not a fan of copying things, you know, exactly as much as you can. I like the idea of maybe making it look very much like it, but adding touches from the era to make it your own. So my phone is telling me to save this and move on. Someday I'll figure out why my phone only films a short period of time. It's probably because of all the stuff I have saved on my phone. It's a lot. I have a lot saved on my phone. Handsome hubby likes to laugh at me because I have when I complain about what little space I have on my phone, and he goes to look, it's not. I have like 3 games on my phone. I have a minimal amount of apps on my phone. My phone is full of photos and videos. Like, that is what is taking up all of the space. And he's like, but these are like in the Google Cloud. You can delete them. And I'm like, but then I have to go find them, and they're in folders on my phone where I know how to find them. And I don't know. I'm just not super tech savvy. This is the way things are, and the way I like them, and the way I have them is the way I want them, and that's the way they are. Friends. By the way, I appreciate you. I know I tell you this sometimes, often, but I appreciate you. I love it when you comment on my videos. I know I don't always respond, but I do try to always heart your comments so that you know I read them. And I want you to know I always read them before I heart your comments. I I like knowing you're out there. I feel like we are friends, kindred spirits and all of that. I hope you are sewing. I hope you have fun things to sew for, and I want to hear all about them. Also, tell your pets I said hi and that I love them. Okay, bye. Bye.